I started this podcast because there are so many things I wish someone had told me when I started my virtual assistant business. So many little questions that I wish I could hear from someone about. And I want to be your go-to girl for all things related to running an online business. So it's super important to me that I directly answer the questions that you have. So in this week's episode of the Support Squad podcast, I'm opening up to questions from my listeners and my community. It's gonna be a good one, y'all.
You're listening to the Support Squad podcast, where virtual assistants come together to share their best business tools and tips. Virtual assistant for life coaches Sharon Nissen created the Support Squad with a firm belief in community over competition. Whether you're a new virtual assistant looking for advice on how to get started, or an established virtual assistant looking to expand your skills and invite even more abundance into your career, you're in the right place. Working from home doesn't have to be lonely. We're in this together. Now, here she is, the host of the Support Squad podcast, Sharon Nissen.
Hello. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Support Squad podcast. Our little community is growing, and there's nothing I love more than hearing from all of you. One of my absolute favorite places to get feedback is through the podcast reviews on iTunes. You may not know this, but the more reviews a podcast has, the more likely it is to show up in search results and get seen by the people that would benefit from it. Here's one fabulous review that my little podcast has received recently. It comes from Erica C84, and it's titled, "Love This Podcast." Here's what she had to say. If you're thinking of becoming a VA or just starting out your VA business, then this podcast is just for you. I've been listening loyally to each episode, and it continues to give me more insight on how to improve my VA business and gain the confidence I need to leave my 9-to-5. Yes, girl, this is what it's all about. I hope that anyone who hasn't gone all in on their business yet can take actionable items from this podcast, apply them to their business, and have the opportunity to leave their soul-sucking 9-to-5s once and for all. So many of us have done it. It is possible. If I can do it, you can do it. Promise. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. I'm going to be answering questions from my girls in the Support Squad Hangout Facebook group and from my Instagram followers. We're going to cover a ton today. Question 1. This one comes from Erica. I think it's the same Erica that left that awesome review. So thanks, Erica. She asked, what are the best ways to increase engagement on Instagram? This is such a good question, and I feel like I've learned so much about Instagram over the last year, and I've come such a long way. Embarrassing confession, once upon a time, before the Support Squad was even an inkling in my head, I played the follow-unfollow game. Dun dun dun. In case you don't know, that's where you follow a bunch of people in hopes that they will follow you back, and then after a period of time, you go back through and unfollow everyone that didn't follow you back. Yuck, y'all. I'm sure you already know this, but this is a very bad practice. The only thing that will really move the needle forward in your followers, and more importantly in your business, is to build relationships and spark genuine engagement. And I hate to break it to you, it takes real time and dedication. So the number one way that I create engagement on my own Instagram feed is by engaging in a meaningful way on other people's feeds. I schedule 15 minutes a day for engaging with other accounts on Instagram. And I talked about this in episode 7 where I shared my daily schedule. It's literally on my calendar. Sometimes I click on a hashtag that's relevant to my niche, or sometimes I just scroll through everyone that I'm following, which is all people in my niche, and then I go through the recent posts and I comment in a thoughtful way on posts that stand out to me after I've read every word. There's no copy and pasting. There's no cookie cutter responses. I really read posts and I provide a real response. And this beautiful thing has happened where I've developed actual relationships with the people behind these accounts. And it's not through a magic shortcut, I'm sorry. It's through authentic engagement. On this note, I also make sure that I respond to every comment on my own feed in the same thoughtful way. This not only builds connections, but it helps the Instagram algorithm show my posts more because there is more engagement on the post. I mean, more comments is always good, even if it's your own. So make sure you're responding to your followers. Another way to increase engagement is to mix it up. Use different hashtags on every post. And on that note, make sure you're using the full 30 hashtags on every post. You have 30 hashtags, you might as well use them. And make sure to post a variety of content and ask real questions. I find that before I ask my audience to answer a question, I answer it myself, and that helps get people engaged. So if you're going to ask your audience something like, what's your favorite tool for managing social media? Make sure to share yours. This gets the conversation rolling. Yeah, I could really do a whole series on Instagram. I really love Instagram, but those are just some good tips to get started. We can always pick up this conversation again later. So question number 2, this one comes from Amanda. She asked, did you have past experience with these online VA systems prior to becoming a VA? My answer, a big ol' nope. Okay, so I'd done a little bit of social media management and a little bit of website developing and graphic design before starting my virtual assistant business, but I knew absolutely nothing about starting or running an online business before I got started. Like I've shared before, I got my first clients through the freelancing site Upwork. And basically, before I applied to any job that I saw, I'd look up all the programs that they needed me to use, and then I'd do a little research to see if there were enough resources available online for me to learn the programs and systems to the level my client would need. And then I'd decide if I could do it or not. One of my favorite quotes is from Marie Forleo. She says brilliantly, everything is figure-outable. This was pretty much my motto when I started my business. I knew that I was smart and that I was resourceful, and that because of those two things, I could pretty much teach myself how to use any system with free resources that I found online. So much of what I've learned about systems and programs, I've learned slowly, project by project and client by client. With each new client, I typically learn a new program or skill. And that's why I believe that anyone can be a virtual assistant if they have one important skill, the ability to learn and seek out information. Do not be scared by what you don't know. So now on to question number 3. This one is from Elise. For those of us with no marketing background, where is the best place to find tips? Honestly, my favorite place to find tips is on podcasts. For me, it is just the most convenient, time-friendly way to consume information. And there are so many good ones out there. But as I've mentioned before, my absolute favorites are Amy Porterfield's Online Marketing Made Easy and Jenna Kutcher's Goal Digger. They are so tapped into current best practices, and they always have amazing guests. It's like an education on each episode. Another great way to get free marketing training is through webinars. Sure, most online marketers create webinars as an intro to their newest paid course, but free webinars are usually packed full of amazing information. Start following people like Marie Forleo and Melissa Griffin, and you'll start seeing Facebook ads for all kinds of marketing webinars. They're a great place to get started, and you might even end up wanting to pay for a course if a topic really resonates with you. Also, make sure to join active Facebook groups in your niche. I have learned so much from being a part of Facebook groups for entrepreneurs. There are so many amazing women out there killing it in the marketing world, and they are willing to share their expertise if you hop into those Facebook groups and get friendly and social. All right, so question number 4. This one comes from my girl Cassandra in the Support Squad Hangout Facebook group. She asked, how do you create copy that sells? Wow, this is a good question. And I'll be honest, I am not a copywriting expert. However, there are a few things I know to be true in writing copy based on my own experience. So number 1, never talk down to your potential client or consumer in your copy. Treat them with dignity and respect. They should get the impression that they are on your level or higher and that you need them. When I write social media or sales copy for my audience, I know that you all are just as talented, smart, and amazing as I am, if not more, and my copy always reflects that. Number 2, you need to show exactly how a person's life will change because of your product or service. Be specific. So if you're writing copy to attract a new client for your VA business, don't just focus on the time you will save them by taking over their social media or their administrative tasks. Share what they can do with that time. They can create a new product offering, spend time with their family, paint a real picture using lots of descriptive and specific language. Number 3, this one is huge. Use your ideal client's own language in your copy. So what do I mean by this? Well, there are a lot of ways that you can get your potential clients to tell you what they need in their own words. So try posting a question in a niche-specific Facebook group, asking what your client needs the most support with in their business. Ask them what they would love to make more time for in their lives. Follow your ideal clients on Instagram and see what they are consistently posting about. Then use a spreadsheet to track words that you see come up a lot or common themes, and then use those specific words and ideas in your copy. In other words, speak their language. I recently read a great book called Everybody Writes, Your Go-To Guide to Creating Ridiculously Good Content. It's by Ann Handley, and it gave so many useful tips on how to write sparkling and engaging content. I highly recommend it if you're looking to uplevel your writing skills. It was a huge help for me. Just search Ann Handley. It'll come up on Amazon for you. All right, y'all know I like to keep these episodes short and sweet, so I'm going to end here for today, but I want you to know that you can always come to me with your questions. Almost every episode of the Support Squad podcast comes directly from a question from you guys because I'm doing this for all of us. Never feel shy about shooting me a DM on Instagram at the.support.squad or in our private Facebook group, the Support Squad Hangout. I love hearing from all of you. Until next time, boss babe.